Hello, good morning from Indiana Dunes State Park. Come up. You wanna sit? Can you sit? Oh, good girl. I'm only here for one night, so I am leaving today. This is my 4th travel day in a row, and I am just glad to be done. Not done. I'm far from done, but I'm glad that I'm going to start stretching out my stays a little bit more. It's hard to catch up on work. Yeah, it's a whole thing, but it's fine. We're getting through it. If I had to do it again, I could, and I probably will have to have a few more back-to-back travel days on this trip as well, just to kind of make sure I get to Arizona in time, because I do have a reservation for October. So a little bit more about Indiana Dunes State Park. If you don't know, there is an Indiana Dunes National Park, and I thought I might go, but with only a one-night stay here, I think I'm just gonna stick to the state park. There is plenty to do here, and I just want to explore a little bit more. Yesterday we did the trail out of the campground. Man, it's a trail, so you're essentially climbing one of the dunes, and it's incredibly pretty, and I think this is a very nice campground to stay at. There is a campground at the national park, but I think it doesn't have any electric hookups, which is why I chose to stay here instead. Before we leave, I want to explore the park a little bit more, because there are a lot of hiking trails. I want to see the lake again. Battery died on my camera, so we're switching over to just my phone. It's fine. But as I was saying, I want to just explore the park a little bit more, because there are quite a few trails and some things to do. So there's a nature center somewhere, and I think we were on the nature center trail for a little bit. Hiking trails, biking trails, nature preserve, boardwalk, camp store. There's a restaurant. So checkout is at 2, and I just want to see what we can fit in. So we did some exploring this morning. I think I want to go do the 3 dunes challenge, which is you're basically climbing 3 dunes. I climbed one of them twice yesterday, so what's one extra? So it's about 1.5 miles, so I think we have time for it. It's 10:19. I want to start packing up maybe around noon, so yeah. Before that, I wanted to quickly talk about state parks in general. So most of my experience comes from camping in Arizona state parks, and state parks are obviously a very nice place to camp in most places. This is the 3rd state that I'm staying in a state park in. Fourth. So I've done Arizona, Colorado, Michigan, and now Indiana. And so something that I've noticed that only Arizona does so far out of the states that I visited is that Arizona doesn't make you pay for the entry fee to get into the park. As long as you have a camping reservation, you're just fine. Every other state park that I've stayed at makes you pay an entry fee to get in, and this usually adds quite a bit to the cost. So just for the one night staying here, the nightly cost itself is $30. The fees that I paid were $8. So that gets you up to 38, which isn't too bad. Not the worst by any means. But then I had to pay a $12 entry fee. And I think they only make you pay the entry fee once for Indiana state parks, but that still brings me up to a nightly total of $50, which is wild. The entry fee does cost less for Indiana residents, but overall, kind of question whether or not it's worth it staying in state parks overnight, like for a one-night stay, because oftentimes you have to pay a processing fee online, and oftentimes they're like $8 or $10, which is way too much for a processing fee. If you're staying for longer, it doesn't really matter as much, but these overnight stays, it just all starts to add up. Michigan had the same problem with expensive online fees to make a reservation. I don't know if it's any different if you call to make a reservation, but the thing I really liked about Michigan is that even though they did require you to have a state park pass to get in, the state park pass itself for 1 year is only $40, and that's for out-of-state residents. For in-state, it's like less than $20 a year, which is incredible. I had to pay $80 a year for a Arizona state park pass, just because I wanted to visit the state parks, not because I needed it to go camping. And then Colorado state parks, which makes you pay a daily fee to get into the parks, which I think I had the biggest gripe against Colorado, because I stayed there quite a bit over the last summer. So I ended up just getting a yearly state park pass because that would be very expensive if I didn't. That was still $80, so good on Michigan for having reasonably priced state park passes. I understand that the money does go to helping keep these state parks clean and maintained, and state park campgrounds are generally some of the best campgrounds I stay at, but I just wish these costs were included in the nightly fee, so I know what I am paying up front instead of just keeps adding up. But oh well, nothing much I can do about that, I guess. But yeah, I think we're gonna go do some hiking. You wanna go for a walk, Mercy? You wanna go for a walk? Oh yes, she wants to go for a walk.